Welcome, friends, to the third and final part of my coronavirus special episode telling the story of Batman Contagion. Here in our reality, the death toll in America is close to 25,000. Over 600,000 are infected nationwide. Thankfully, we've held up better than Gotham. There aren't riots in the streets or open fires everywhere, but knock on wood, it never gets that bad. Pretty much everyone outside is wearing masks, and most people are staying home. There's talk of testing vaccines on humans within 6 months, and the blood of those who have recovered has proved useful as a treatment for the sick. The struggle to allocate equipment continues, and while it's not bad here in St. Louis, they're digging mass graves in New York. We have the worst outbreak on the planet, and there is no easy solution. So let's all take comfort that there is a solution found in this final part of Batman Contagion. Every outbreak story has an ending, and here is the ending to this one. Let's begin. The Batman Chronicles is an anthology book, telling short stories of characters in the Bat family. From this issue I'll highlight the stories of the Huntress and Robin, who has just contracted the virus and lies convalescing in the Batcave. This cover is a remake of a famous image from A Death in the Family, the story of the death of the second Robin, Jason Todd, from 1988. This part is not numbered, as its stories fit in different places in the overall story. The Huntress story follows her as she tries to track down a student from the school she works at as a teacher and her secret identity. His father was the pilot who carried Roger Maris to Babylon Towers. Eric's whole family is dead, but he's out there somewhere, alone, and the Huntress vows to find him. Follow her example, and if you go outside during this time, wear a mask. Huntress thinks of the irony that she puts her entire school in danger simply by being there, knowing that her mob enemies wouldn't hesitate to strike at her there, but now she's worried about the danger young Eric is in. Making her way into the school, she calls every parent in her address book, but she is attacked by an infected man and her arm is sliced open. Thankfully, a man in medical gear helps her, shooting her attacker before she has to kill him herself. She bandages her arm and takes off, unwilling even now to claim the title of a good guy. She often kills the mobsters she fights, which is why Batman doesn't approve of her methods. She operates in Gotham, but she's not a member of the Bat family, just one more unlikely ally in a crisis. Huntress realizes that since Eric's home wasn't safe, he might go to the next safest place he knew, his dad's work. He was a pilot, and the boy loved to fly with him whenever he could. She swings down to the helipad of Babylon Towers, meaning this must have taken place before the fire, and quickly deals with the guards posted there, barricading the roof, shooting some with her crossbow and punching the rest. Her arm patch is torn off, but there's nothing she can do about it now. Huntress runs as she hears cries coming from the helicopter. She rushes to the door, but what she finds there stops her cold. Eric has already been infected with the Apocalypse virus. Huntress backs away, and Batman tells her that until a cure is found, there's nothing either of them can do to help people, and that there's a price for even trying. Robin lies in the Batcave's hospital facility, asking Alfred if the lights are off. Alfred tells him that they are not. Alfred thought it best to bandage Tim's eyes because of the blood-filled tears. He asks if there's anything he can do to make Tim more comfortable, but Tim is only worried about Batman. Alfred leaves to attend a few things upstairs, and Tim dozes off. He wakes with a start as his father, Jack Drake, awakens him. Jack doesn't know he's Robin, or at least he didn't used to. Jack tells his son that Bruce had to tell him with everything that's going on, and it explains a lot, such as his odd disappearances. Jack tells Tim that it's okay, he understands, and that he's proud of him. Tim feels weird dressing in his Robin costume in front of his dad, as he's never seen him in it. He tells him he can keep on being Robin, but that as his father he'd like a little input, and that Bruce agrees. Bruce is in the kitchen with Alfred, wearing his Batman costume but no mask, and tells Tim it's best if he spends some time growing up, and less time fighting criminals. He gives Robin some time off, and Jack walks his son out to the yard for his next surprise. It's Ariana, Tim Drake's girlfriend, who also didn't know he was Robin. She hugs him and tells him she's fine with it too. She thinks it's cool. Jack Drake tells his son that he can smell dinner and they should go in. It's roast lamb, potatoes, and apple cobbler, a meal he hasn't had since his mother died. Tim gets to the house, and there's his mother. He runs and hugs her, telling her that he loves her, and he thought he'd never see her again. He tells her that he has so much to tell her, as the world fades away. Robin awakens in the Batcave and asks Alfred if the lights are off. Alfred tells Tim he thought it was best to bandage his eyes. This cover shows Batman mourning the thousands of dead Gothamites and a sign proclaiming Gotham the city of the dead. Part 9 begins with Catwoman locking Tracker in the trunk of a rental car at the airport. Catwoman plans to find the third survivor herself and claim the entire bounty. She puts Tracker to sleep and locks him in. A quick change to Selina Kyle, and a plane ticket later, Catwoman is headed for Florida. Tracker wakes up and manages to bargain his way out of the trunk, promising $1,000 to a passerby. Catwoman has found Leonard, the third survivor, but she is soon kidnapped as collateral by some drug dealers. Exiting via the roof, she pays a cab driver to follow them. Riding on the roof is thrilling but disorienting. The dealers arrive at a rundown, boarded-up store. Catwoman tries to enter through the roof, but in Florida there are far less skylights than in Gotham. Catwoman interrupts the gangster Tito's speech and flips to dodge the incoming gunfire. She jump kicks one henchman into two others, and they bring a wall of TV sets toppling down on them. Tito takes Leonard hostage. Catwoman tells him she's worth a lot of money alive and nothing dead. He doesn't believe her or his victim, though, so Catwoman takes him down by firing her grappling claw into his head. Catwoman encourages Tito to help her and Leonard get to Gotham by putting him in a washing machine and running it for a while. He is soon convinced, and the two fly back to Gotham soon after. Catwoman gets to know Leonard a bit on the way. Back in Gotham, Catwoman finds that Babylon Towers is burned to the ground, and figures her reward is history. When Tracker tries to ambush her, she gives Leonard to him, but upon hearing that Penguin will make good on the bounty, she changes her mind. She tells Tracker that she sabotaged his guns before leaving him. She takes him down with her whip, pulling him in by the neck for a jumping kick. She heads for Penguin with the girl in tow. Penguin's place is deserted, however, except for a familiar gravelly voice from the shadows telling her that he's out of business. Catwoman gives up her prize right away, telling her she's going to be okay, that he only wants a sample of her blood to make an antivirus. Part 9 ends with Batman stepping out of the shadows and telling them that it's too late for that. Too late for Gotham. The blood of survivors is not a source of a cure or a vaccine to Ebola Gulf A. They have all failed. The cover of Azrael here shows Jean Paul grieving for Tim Drake, who helped train him along with Batman when he became Azrael, and who served his version of Batman as Robin. But more important is the symbol that Robin's body lies upon, as we'll see in this issue. Part 10 begins with Batman telling Catwoman that Gotham is doomed. He tells Leonard that she didn't survive the plague, neither did the others from the fishing village. They have a natural immunity, so they never contracted the virus to begin with. There are no antibodies in their blood. Nightwing says that a few hundred Gothamites might have a natural immunity as well. A few hundred out of 7.5 million people, says Batman. Robin lies in the Batcave awaiting death. He only has hours left to live. He asks Alfred to tell his father that he was Robin, that he's sorry, and that he doesn't love Bruce more than him. Alfred promises to do so and tells Tim to get some rest. The National Guard is stationed at every bridge and road out of Gotham, the city under martial law. Jean Paul Valley and his supporting cast are watching the news when they happen to see a visualization of the virus on TV. Jean Paul recognizes the symbol from the Order of Saint Dumas. He saw it on the wall of a laboratory in Africa held by the Order. The three suspect they may be responsible. Meanwhile, at the headquarters of the Order of Saint Dumas, an underling is being disciplined for having released the virus by infecting Roger Maris and sending him to Gotham. It seems he exceeded his orders, and he pays for it with his life. The leader deduces that Azrael must have taken writings from the laboratory in Africa, and orders his men in America to strike. Azrael and his friends are digging through the writings when they discover a reference to a terrible sickness. Luckily, one of them knows how to decode the ancient language. Back in Gotham, Batman tells Catwoman that while they're still enemies, he's letting her go this time, the crime she commits being insignificant compared to the horror in the streets. Catwoman says that she and Leonard are going to do what they can to help the sick, that after everything she's done, she'll die a good guy. Batman says that he hopes she won't suffer much if the worst happens. Robin is going through that worst case scenario at that moment. Alfred grieves for him, for himself, for Batman and his allies, for the Gotham police force, for the most formidable force he has ever known, all helpless against the threat this time. But Azrael's allies have found the cure at last. Common ingredients combined by a science mostly forgotten by modern men, but possible to synthesize given this information. The Order had plans to cleanse the earth of non-believers and sinners, only giving the antidote to their followers. Azrael races off to Gotham to storm the blockade and deliver the cure before his friends can tell him that what he's about to do is pointless. The Order's men attack him on his way to his car, but Azrael makes quick work of them with his flaming swords. Azrael calls from the car phone to tell his friends that there are men outside who mean them harm as he speeds away toward Gotham. He hangs up before they can tell him anything. Azrael's car races towards the roadblock with him riding on the hood. As it smashes into a barricade, he leaps over the National Guardsman. He dives into the river, surfacing on the other side. A homeless man asks him if he is the Angel of Death. Azrael responds that while that's who he has been, he hopes that now he's the Angel of Life. Azrael bursts into the emergency room of the first hospital he sees and hands a doctor a paper containing the cure to Ebola Gulf A, the apocalypse virus. Back at the Batcave, Nightwing rushes to Alfred to tell him the good news. He has a cure that's been in use at Gotham Medical Hospital since that morning with a 100% success rate. He says they should have everything they need in the cave, that they'll have Robin on his feet in no time. He finds Robin's bed empty though, and Alfred tells him that it is too late, as Part 10 ends. This final cover shows Robin grappling with the specter of death, a visualization of what he's been going through with the virus. As Part 11 begins, Alfred is telling Nightwing that it's too late for the cure to do Tim Drake any good. From off-panel, a voice tells him that that was in poor taste. It's too late for the cure to do him any good because he's already taken it, and he's doing fine. Comics love to pull cheap tricks like this. It's all about the suspense. That last issue, all the covers foreshadowing Robin's death, all shameless misdirection. It's all part of the show, folks. It seems that Azrael's mission was indeed pointless, as, with his medieval thinking, he didn't realize that his friends could fax the cure to Gotham hospitals as well as Wayne Tech far faster than he could deliver it by hand. Despite the cure being distributed to all the sick people of Gotham, there's still general anarchy and the city is under martial law. Batman and Nightwing head out to corral the chaos, and Tim plans to go to bed for about a month. However, priority email comes through on the Bat computer. Tim knows that he should ignore it, but he checks, and learns that a gang is holding a neighborhood hostage with snipers and not letting the cure be delivered. With people dying every second, Robin knows that he is needed. He suits up and heads out in the Redbird. On the way, he calls his father and his girlfriend to let them know that he's okay. He says he was out of contact because the power went out at Bruce's house and he was stuck outside of Gotham by the quarantine. He thinks to himself how much he hates having to lie to the people he loves, but he knows that he must to keep them safe. Robin makes his entrance to Gotham by way of a maintenance walk under a bridge that the National Guard don't know about. He plans to hang back and pace himself unless he's really needed. The new mayor has taken office and reinstated Jim Gordon as police commissioner. Now officially back in charge, he listens as gang members give their demands via bullhorn. The gang members also opened fire on the police below, demanding cash for the lives of everyone in the neighborhood. While inside the houses, families are slowly dying of the plague, wondering when help will come. With the city broken in chaos, there's no chance of paying the ransom. Gordon must use force, but maybe Robin can prevent that. He just needs to rest his eyes for a moment. He is awoken by Catwoman, who has toyed with the idea of ripping off the ransom, but has decided that creeps like these guys give criminals a bad name, so she's here to help. Besides, she's been a good girl the past few days. Catwoman leaps into action, telling Robin to stay behind. He knows he can't let her handle this alone, though, so he swings into action as well. Well, he crashes through a window and collapses at gunpoint. Catwoman whips both men by the neck, making them drop their guns, and knocks one out with a knee. She helps Robin to his feet and asks what's wrong with him. Robin tells her that he had the clench, but that he got the cure and he's recovering now. He tells her that that doesn't matter though, that every minute people are dying and he wasn't going to sit by while that happened. Catwoman tells him that she'd always wondered why Batman took on a partner, until now. He offers to put in a good word for her, and she tells him not to dare, that she has her reputation to think of. Robin and Catwoman mop up the thugs, as Robin thinks that he's keeping bad company for the second time in a week, should watch his own reputation. As our story comes to a close, Robin thinks that this latest disaster has made for some strange alliances, and that for all of the bad, some good came out of it as well. We all found some strength that we never knew we had, and for just one day, life seemed more precious than ever before. But tomorrow, it'll all be back to normal. Nothing ever really changes. Well, let's all hope for that return to normalcy for our own world, too. We'll have a cure or a vaccine eventually, and this will become just another period of history to be learned from. It may get worse before it gets better, but one day, it will get better. Let's make sure we learn the right lessons from this, to keep each other close and take care of each other, because the only way to handle any crisis is together. Stay safe out there, and thank you for your time.